So you've done it. You finally have saved enough money. You've got enough dough to finally get yourself a car. You have a license, and just as important, you also have the accommodations to get yourself a brand new car. Now, whether you're a family or you're starting out to be a family, or you just basically need a car to get you from point A to point B, shielding you from the sun and the rain, this top 10 list is just for you. We recommend a car that's easy to pilot, easy to park, has got good tech, and more importantly, will keep you safe and happy behind the wheel. So for all of those that are looking to buy, this is the list made just for you. These cars are relatively new, basically 2020 and up. Oh, and another thing, a first-time car buyer is a budget-minded buyer. So there aren't going to be any premium cars on this list. I mean, come on, man. The last thing that you want to do is get yourself like a European sports car, scratch the mag ever so slightly, and then bring it to the shop and then find out, woo, that's 10,000 pesos. To bring the mag down? 10 grand! Number 10, it's Honda's Mini, the Brio. It's one of the better driving cars in its segment, and it comes with either a 5-speed manual or a CVT automatic. It's surprisingly stable on the highway and pretty capable with its 1.2-liter 4-cylinder engine, light chassis, and sharp handling. It's also quite a looker, especially in the RS variant. It was one of our favorite cars back in 2019 and still lives to fight the day in 2020. However, a few cons about this car is its lack of features, and believe me, it could do better in this department. We wish that there was a backup camera or even sensors. Now, backing into a parking slot or parallel parking is pretty hard for first-time drivers, so there is a bit of a learning curve in that regard. However, do note that the Brio is compact enough for it not to be a hassle, and it will teach you all the basics and fundamentals and dynamics of driving in a very fun and handsome package. Number 9. Next up, we have one of the most affordable and one of the quirkiest cars in the segment today. Coming in at just over 500,000 Philippine pesos is the Suzuki Espresso. Now, like a cup of coffee, waking up to this thing in the morning is a trip and gives you a jolt of excitement as you are about to get in and drive. Now, some say it's the perfect car for the first-time buyers because it does have a manual, so it's a perfect learning platform. Which is really how one should start in our very humble opinion. Now, it does lack certain features, but at the very least, it will give you a very good learning experience. It's not that great in terms of features. It does have everything you need to get you going and even a touchscreen infotainment system along with rear parking sensors. Now, the steering is light and you wouldn't really have to break the bank at the dealer or at the gasoline station because this thing has amazing fuel economy. Now, what really won us over about this car is not exactly just the price, but the amount of space and ground clearance that you have on this car. You've got ground clearance to clear all the potholes and space more than enough to put luggage in the back and fit Jack inside the car. That's a lot. Number 8. Next up, the MG5. Built and brought in to take on other titans in its segment, this sedan is one of the most feature-rich that you can get in the market, and it makes the list because of that. In its top-of-the-line Alpha model, it is well-equipped. Now, we're talking a 10-inch infotainment system, panoramic sunroof, a 360-degree camera, and more. There are a plethora of features that make this car. You get a 1.5-liter gasoline motor made into a CVT, which is good enough for most city trips, or you can go basic and get a 5-speed manual. Now, we won't lie, because you might feel a bit disconnect between your foot and the accelerator. There is a little bit of a lag when you get going, but at the very least, the chassis is actually very good. One that MG says it has Brit Dynamic. Number 7. Next, we have the most affordable Toyota, the Wigo. Now, we cannot deny that Toyota is the force to be reckoned with in the country. It is, after all, the #1 car brand here in the Philippines. Now, this is their most affordable car in the range, the Wigo. It's got a very frugal gasoline engine that is a 1-liter 3-cylinder motor that comes with either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. Now, more surprising still is the fact that it has so much space compared to other cars in the same category. You get all that and more, plus a few chops with the TRD-S variant that goes for 700,000 Philippine pesos. You also get a rather modern infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And to top that, you get a reverse camera, which is a con that plagued the first two in the list. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the Wigo. There are, well, a few caveats that will sway you from getting this car. For instance, the steering is a bit heavy and it betrays the car's size and weight. The engine and transmission are not geared for sporty driving. We will say this though, the comfort that you get is pretty great, and going over potholes and bumps in the metro is not that bad with the Wigo. 6. Next on the list, we have yet another Toyota, the Vios. As popular as its name, it's also a very safe and stable purchase from our market today. One of, if not the most popular nameplates in the country, the Vios enjoys huge parts of availability thanks to its local manufacturer in the Philippines in Santa Rosa, Laguna. Refreshed in the year 2020, the Vios still retains a lot of the look that made the prior models so popular. You also get 2 engines and transmission options in the form of a 5-speed manual or a CVT automatic. Both transmissions can be paired with either a 1.3-liter gasoline engine or a 1.5-liter gasoline engine. It's a comfy ride, and thanks to the Toyota badge, you get peace of mind. It's really a great point A to point B machine. You also, get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in its head unit. And top-of-the-line models will get a backup camera. Though, alright, its pro is actually also its con. See, there are a billion, well, okay, I exaggerate. There are a million, I might be exaggerating, but you know what I mean. There are a lot, and I do mean a lot of Vios automobiles out there. So when you get one, you don't necessarily stand out. But then, if you think about it, careers, businesses, families, there was even a kid born inside of Vios. The fact that this car is actually the backbone of all of these things, that in itself is a feat. And here we're gonna start the top 5. And now we have a hot newcomer that is not only affordable, but is loaded with features. Taking Kia's very European approach, the Stonic is very well put together and meets the standards that put this car on the fast and very vast highways of Europe. It carries with it one of the most attractive exteriors you can find on a car, and it also has a good set of features. Considering its price point, it's way under a million Philippine pesos. Though it isn't without its caveats. You do have a 1.4-liter engine mated to a 5-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic transmission, so that's not the problem. The problem is cabin space. Luggage space, not a problem. Cabin space, taller passengers, yeah, that might be a problem. Number 4. Next, we have the rival to the most popular subcompact car, the Honda City. New from the ground up, the all-new City has an amazing new design that is more Accord-like now than ever. Coming in with a lot of style, it can transform from being a very classy and more mature sedan all the way to a sporty-looking subcompact depending on which variant you get. If we had our pick, we would choose the RS variant. It just has all the trimmings and the features. The model is one of the best looking ones in the business, and it really drives well, like its little brother, the Brio, but a bit better to much better actually. Refinement and class or sportiness depending on what you opt for are there. You also get an 8-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in the mix. You get a 1.5-liter gasoline engine mated to a 5-speed manual or a CVT, and the price for this guy starts at just under 1 million Philippine pesos, and to be honest, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. The Bronze, number 3. Next on the list is a really great car, and if we're being honest, it's one of the better handling ones that we've assembled here today. The Mazda 2. It's really a great driving car, and it stands out as one of the most affordable ways to get a rather premium Japanese sedan or even a hatchback, depending on what you want. Heck, the model was even able to bag multiple awards in the past, and it really shows when you drive it. You get a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated Skyactiv G gasoline engine that produces 108 horses and 141 Newton-meters of torque, mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission with paddles as a standard throughout the variant range. Though, and let's be real here, it doesn't have fancy smanchy features like a 360-degree camera or a turbocharger, no. But that's the thing as well. You know where all that budget went, and you know for a fact that Mazda put those costs into things that matter and that heighten the driving experience by a lot, and I do mean a lot. And hey man, it's not the fastest car on the planet, but it sure does look faster than it actually looks. Kinda like me when I stand next to smaller cars. Number 2, silver. Up next, a newcomer to the market, the Ford Territory. When Ford Philippines first launched this car, we didn't really know what to expect, but after driving it and bringing it around town and out of town, we can safely say that this crossover is one of the better equipped cars in the country at the time of filming. It has a 1.5-liter turbocharged motor that produces 141 horses and 225 Newton-meters of torque, mated to a CVT. It's got a huge infotainment system, it's got a large panoramic sunroof, and an even longer list of features that, well, it's just too tedious to go through. But alright, again, pros and cons. It may be on the more expensive side of the spectrum, especially if you want all those features. It's not the biggest car on the planet, drink, but though it does drive well and stays nicely planted on the highway. That being said, it'll definitely make for a good purchase. However, the top of the line model, that might take a little bit more ponying up. The Trend version, however, much more affordable. Sure, it's a little bit devoid on a few features like no 360-degree camera, but either variant, man, definitely a great purchase and deserves a spot on this list. And finally, number 1, the best of the best, the GOAT, the top of the top. While the country was still in the middle of its lockdown, this car company sold almost 300 of its units in just 1 month. It is the GD Coolray. Sorry, not sorry, but with a price that starts just under 1 million Philippine pesos, this guy is tough to ignore. Ground clearance alone will make it an enticing buy as it stands. The compact dimensions and the big power of the 3-cylinder turbo it's got under the hood make it a compelling buy. That and you get an interior that you just love to be in. It's so warm and inviting, plus it's basically a budget Volvo. That, and you're really not paying through the nose for it. While prices and variants will change over time, these are our recommendations as of date. Now, whatever your choice may be, navigating through your device, whether it be mobile, desktop, or otherwise, AutoDeal.com.ph and our buy online features will bring you that much closer to your very, very well-deserved ride, quite literally at the tip of your fingertips. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.